Hello, everyone. Welcome to the advice stream. I am Jeremy International, and this is the advice stream, I think I said. Hi, the advice stream is the live stream where hey, PG Doug, thanks for the happy birthday. I was just going to say, today's my birthday. I don't mean to brag or anything, but I'm still alive. Uh, the advice stream, we're live on Facebook, we're live on YouTube, we're live on Twitch. We are live at JeremyInternational.com. The advice stream is the live stream where we play old video games for a little while. You can see I got Rolling Thunder running over there. We're going to roll into that in a little bit. And while I'm playing, we share. If you have questions, then I can answer them. If you need advice, if you're in a conundrum, if you're in a pickle, ask your old friend Jeremy International. Maybe I can help you out. I bet I can, because I'm getting old, and we all get older by a day every day, and then you have a birthday, and it feels like you get older by a lot on that day, but it's just a day, Do ya? Where was I going with that thought? So this is the advice stream. Hello. Today, in just a little bit, we're going to be playing the arcade classic Rolling Thunder. Now, this is the Famicom version. I believe it's from 1986. As always, I am playing on as close to original hardware as is technologically possible. I am playing original physical video game cartridges. You can see here, my Famicom collection is always CIB. This is the box for Rolling Thunder. I love this game. It's just kind of a side-scrolling shooter. It's fun. I remember playing this game an awful lot in the old putt-putt in my hometown. We could walk to the putt-putt from my parents' house, and we often did. And they had a Rolling Thunder machine there that we played a lot. It says 1986, 1989, so I'm assuming 89 because they wouldn't have put a future date, would they? We got a few folks joining on Twitch. Hey, Fred Undead. Hey, PG Doug. Good to see ya. We've got a big old egg on Facebook, but that's usually the case. And on YouTube, we got one person, but I always think maybe the one person watching on YouTube is me. I don't know the answer to that. If you're watching out there on YouTube, if you're watching the advice stream and you're not me, go ahead and, put a hi in the chat there just so I can know. It says one watching, and I'm watching on YouTube. So maybe I'm the watcher. Who watches the watcher? No one knows. Cool. So we have a few questions that have been written in to the website. Once again, if you would like to seek advice from me, your friend Jeremy International, you can go to JeremyInternational.com. There's a contact form there. Those are anonymous. I do not share or record any personal identifying information from there. I've also borrowed a few questions from across the internet that we'll get into also. Oh my gosh, and of course, in the second hour, we have a special guest today. My friend, your friend, musician, smarty guy, intellectual, just like myself, Andrew Grossman will be joining us in the second hour, so right around 10 EST. We'll have the old AG coming on board. Andrew, if you don't know Andrew, the audience, Andrew's the lead singer from the North Country, is a very talented musician and all-around rad dude. We're going to hang out in the second hour and get through some of your advice questions as well. But without further ado, while we're kind of warming up here, we're waiting for people to join in on the birthday episode of the advice stream. I'm gonna go ahead and kind of tuck in to Rolling Thunder here, and we'll see how it goes. Haven't really shared that much about my setup, so I have a Famicom right here. You can go to my Instagram, which is the advice stream underscores in between those words. And you can see a picture. This is the AV Famicom, so it looks a lot like the top loader NES we got here in the US. You know, the NES that most people are familiar with are the one where the game goes in and then down, but a little bit later on they made one where it just goes in like a toaster on the top. The AV Famicom is very similar in appearance to that, but of course the top has to be flat. It's not rounded like the AV NES was, because the disk system adapter has to be able to fit there. I have a disk system too, and maybe we'll play some games for the Famicom disk system soon. Go ahead and let me know in the chat if you understood anything I just said. I also have a modded original NES controller that is Bluetooth. There is no wires because, you know, that's just how I roll. I don't mean any disrespect. That's just how I am. But let's check out some Rolling Thunder while we're waiting for folks to kind of come on by. But it's great to see you, Fred Undead. It's great to see you, PG Doug. I love y'all both so much. You know, here's one thing that's important to do while I'm getting started here on your birthday. I went to therapy this morning. Therapy is important for, I think, everybody. And I never really thought about it. I was like, hey, it's my birthday. I don't want to do anything. So I wasn't going to go, but then I was like, you know, birthday therapy sounds like a good idea. Ooh, look, there's a bullet. So I had therapy today, and I felt really good about it. There's a lot, you know, times are tough for a lot of us, for me and for you and for everybody. But things, you know, I have a lot to be appreciative of. There's a lot of love in my life, you know, there's a lot of love. It's hard to say that sincerely, and that's sad. I should talk to my therapist about why he can't say that in a serious way. But yeah, so I got a lot going on for me. I'm pretty happy. Oh, and except I died. Rolling Thunder died. This guy have a name? Do you think his name is Rolling Thunder? I don't know. Why do I have to shoot that guy twice? And why did that guy go up when I went down? But this is a great game. Simple, you know, it's NES, so you only got 2 buttons really. And you just go from left to right and you shoot the dudes. And that's the story, as old as time. Classic video game. I don't approve of shooting people in general. You only get 2 hits, I just noticed. That doesn't seem fair. I guess I have to be careful. But this is it also doesn't require a lot of attention. So, you know, I can talk to you guys, the fans at home, while I play the game. Let me know if you remember this. You'd have to be probably in your 40s to remember playing this game in, let's say, a putt-putt, for example. But I used to play this game a lot. I spent a couple quarters on it. Why not? Because it's a good game. So yeah, so that's been my day. PG Doug on Twitch says, I feel bad for the yellow hood guys. They cry when you shoot them the first time. Yeah, but keep this in mind, PG Doug. They're wearing hoods. I think all of these guys are in the Klan. I think I'm shooting the KKK. So that makes it okay, right? But they do cry. Is he crying? I think he's just like, oh man, why am I so bad at this? I think that's what he's saying. I should have dodged that guy. Yeah, but I can tell you, you know, sometimes I pick an old game and I'm like, am I really going to want to play that? And then I do, and I'm always happy with my choice because, you know, the classics are the classics for a reason because they're good. Last week we played a game only released for the Famicom called Holy Diver. I had never, oh man, that guy gets me every time. Every time that guy's got me. For those joining late, this is the advice stream. I am your host, Jeremy International. We're live on Twitch. We're live on Facebook. We're live on YouTube. Hey, it's Eichel. Hey, Eichel. Thanks for joining in the show. What is the newest game I've played? Eichel asked. Well, The first, this, believe it or not, it's a little bit of a complicated technical setup to have Famicom from 1986 live stream. In the first couple of days, I had big plans to stream a game, or I had a game I was going to stream from a Game Boy in the first couple of streams I did. And it worked fine when I tested everything out like an hour before I went live. And then I went live and nothing worked. So I scrambled for a game and I played Vampire Survivor, which is a new game. It came out this year. But it looks like it's an old game. But Vampire Survivor's fun. It's on iOS. It's probably on Android. It's free if you look at ads. And it's a fun game. I had a good time playing it. Hey, Start Rec, thank you for the birthday wishes. It is true. Today is my birthday. And I am 44 years old, if you can believe it. I don't feel 44. So I'll first show and tell for the stream. My mother-in-law and her partner got me a bottle, because I like good bourbon. Can you see this okay? Got me a bottle of small batch Elijah Craig, and it's pretty good. It's not my usual, but it's pretty good. Starrec says, no way I'd card you at 7-Eleven. What are we doing at 7-Eleven, Starrec, that would need to be carded? Because I live in a state where you can't buy alcohol at 7-Eleven, which is dumb. But yeah, everyone, I'm from the 70s. I was born at the end of the 70s, but the 70s nonetheless. So I can confirm, I had asked, YouTube says one person is watching, and I had asked for that person to comment so I could determine that it's not me, and no one commented. So it is me. I guess YouTube counts yourself watching your own stream, which seems weird. But we learned a lesson today that it does. So, hi, Amanda. You're 35? Okay, I don't know. I believe you, I guess. Why would you lie about being 35? I'm sorry, and everyone on Twitch, Amanda looks like Amanda is on Facebook. Hi, Amanda. Thanks for joining the stream. For those that are just coming in, Eichel is maybe the person on the YouTube channel. Okay, well, either way, maybe it's me, maybe it's Eichel. Someone is on YouTube. So for those that are just joining, this is the advice stream. I'm Jeremy International. We are live on YouTube. We are live on Facebook. We are live on Twitch. If you're on any one of those, you can only see the comments from the one you're on, but I get to see them all because I'm the puppet master. So I'll do my best to shout out everybody's chats and where they're chatting from. Amanda says, my dad is a Pentagon Lieutenant Colonel, U.S. Marine Corps. I have reason to lie. Well, I wouldn't lie to your dad, Amanda, because those Marine Corps guys don't mess around, I don't think I know anyone that was in the Marines, but I know a couple Army guys, and I know a whole bunch of Navy guys, and the military is the thing that people do, and we have, and it is. So the advice stream, we were playing 1986, maybe 1989. Oh, Amanda, I'm sorry then that I was making jokes about that. Amanda says that he was an abusive man. So I won't make any more jokes. I apologize. Thanks for joining us, Amanda. The advice stream is where I play old video games. This is Rolling Thunder for the Famicom, 1986 or 89, unclear. And I'm playing games and you guys are chatting, we're hanging out. If you have questions, if you're seeking advice, then you can ask me. You can put it right in the chat and I'll do my best. You can also go to JeremyInternational.com and there's a contact form you can use and I get the question right away. I will do my best to answer them. Here are my credentials. Oh, Amanda knows Dave Chappelle. Nice. He's a funny guy. He's one of those comedians that punches down sometimes, I think, and that's not cool. But it's showbiz, baby. People got to do what they got to do. Um, I was gonna say something. Here are my credentials for giving you advice. I am I'm 44, which isn't old. I'm not saying that's old, but I've been around. I got some city miles on me, if you know what I mean. I've been through a couple of things in my life, and I think I have some wisdom. I have some lessons learned. I've made some mistakes that I've learned from, and I can possibly potentially be here to share those life lessons with you if you feel like you're stuck, if you feel like you need advice, relationship advice, interpersonal advice, a limited amount of maybe workplace or financial advice. I'll do my best about the financial advice. So I've been around. Also, IT professional for most of my adult life. Your internet's not working as good as it could. Ask me that. I'll do my best to help you. Who knows? We'll have a good time. But I am, Amanda, my brother won the College Park Comedy Contest, so he is funny as well. Nice. I did some stand up when I was in college, and I understand not everyone in College Park is in college, but a lot of people are. When I was in college, I did a stand up routine where I put on a blonde wig and I did all of the choreography to Oops, I Did It Again by Britney Spears. And I sang it in like a really broken, like English, like a really fake Russian accent. And I got no laughs, but I did it. And it was, I learned some life lessons there. And that sometimes that's what you got to do. That's what you got to do in life is get on stage and do something dumb. And then you learn something about yourself. So let's get back. Oh, another thing that I should mention is in the second hour. So we started at 9 Eastern time. So in the second hour, we're going to have a special guest, my friend, your friend Andrew Grossman, lead singer, kind of musician expertise behind the North Country, all around rad dude. He's going to join us. I've got a bunch of questions. A few have come in through the website. A few I borrowed from other places on the internet. If you are seeking advice of any sort, let us know. Eichel asks, have you ever made meatballs? How do you make meatballs? Wow, Eichel, that is exactly the kind of question that I would want to answer on my birthday. So you can make meatballs in a couple of ways. The important thing about meatballs is you don't need to get fancy. Meatballs are supposed to be simple. So what I would like to do, because I don't eat a lot of red meat these days, so my ideal meatball is ground turkey. At Whole Foods, you can find a package of ground dark turkey meat. When we're talking about birds, turkeys, chickens, always go for dark meat. They're more flavorful. They get dried out less. It's pretty hard to find ground dark meat, ground dark bird meat almost anywhere. But Whole Foods has dark, so like thigh and leg meat from a turkey. And so if you buy at Whole Foods, get that. You don't need much else. I like to get a little bit of red miso. Usually can get that. It's in the refrigerator section at Whole Foods as well. Dilute it in a little bit of water. Mix it all. Get in there. Your hands are going to get gross. Get in there with it. And that's all you need to do. You don't need salt. You don't need pepper. Dark meat, miso, water, best meatballs. Well, maybe not the best, but some of the best meatballs you're gonna get. And if you don't want to use like beef, if you don't want to use a lot of pork, or any pork, that would be the way that I would tell you. Make them not too big, make them not too small, cook them until they're done. You can even put them in the oven. I don't remember what temperature or anything. I don't think about those things. Ooh, and PG Doug put a recipe for turkey Swedish meatballs from the kitchen. I like the kitchen. That's a good place to get recipes. I cook a lot, but I'm not, I at least start with the recipe. I don't do so much like freewheeling in the recipe department. The kitchen is good. If you got a couple extra bucks, It's like $40 a year. America's Test Kitchen, I think, is the best place to get recipes, but you do have to pay for that. But yeah, Eichel, I hope that answers your questions about meatballs. I'm sure that PG Doug, I've eaten at PG Doug's house a couple of times, and I can tell you that PG Doug's always got good food too. But if you're gonna do something like turkey meatballs, turkey burgers, take a little bit of extra time, spend a couple extra bucks if you can. Go to Whole Foods, get the dark meat, because it's worth it. Eichel says, miso, huh? I have never heard of putting miso in meatballs. I'll 100% try it. Kind of boosts up the umami a little bit, you know, is a sentence that I just said on my live stream. But that's my advice to you, Eichel. But also you should check out PG Doug's recipe because I bet that's good. Love a good Swedish meatball. Now, my mother-in-law, who was on the show a couple weeks ago, she makes meatballs, and they're probably the best meatballs I've ever had. And they're mostly like Italian sausage in the meatball. I'm sure she put something else in there too. But like people get all fancy with like breadcrumbs and like an egg. If you're using meat that has enough fat in it, you don't need any of that stuff. It'll hold it together on its own. And that's what you should do. Fred Undead says, yes, miso turkey burgers / meatballs are the best. Fred Undead and I have eaten those miso turkey burgers or meatballs many, many times. And they're always good. Yeah, it's beef and pork in Fred Undead's mom's meatballs. But it's like a lot of Italian sausage. I'm pretty sure it's very flavorful. Hi, Kelfie. Kelfie says happy birthday. Kelfie is on Facebook. Is that right? Facebook says my video's ended. No, it's there. Thanks for joining the stream. We've got so many people coming by to join us. This is so... Yeah, Frenadette, I understand that Italian sausage is pork. I get that. But it's other stuff too, right? It's got like fennel or whatever in it. I don't know. I don't know what I'm talking about. But thanks for joining us, everyone. For people just coming in, this is the advice stream. I am your host, Jeremy International. We're live on Facebook. We're live on Twitch. We're live on YouTube. We're live at JeremyInternational.com. By the way, I always forget to say this. If you're enjoying the show, if you're having a good time, JeremyInternational.com. You have to hunt for it. I need to make these buttons a little bit easier to find, but there's a way you could give me a tip there if you want to. No pressure if you don't. But if you want to throw me a couple bucks because you're having fun, that is your right to do so. And who am I to get in the way? Boost up the umami is a good catchphrase. I agree, PG Doug. If I was on the Food Network, all of those people on the Food Network have to have a catchphrase. I'd say boost up the umami, for sure. Well, that's why do chefs have to have a catchphrase? Okay, let's get back to Rolling Thunder for a little bit. But I'm here. I'm keeping an eye on the chat. Please, if you have questions, if you need advice, I'm not a doctor. I'm legally obligated to tell you that I'm not a doctor. But I've been a patient a lot, and I feel like, I can't tell you, I'm not going to diagnose you, but I can, give you advice about how to handle things, how to, kind of process and deal with medical adventures. If anyone out there, I hope you're not, but sooner or later, everybody does. And, I'm here to help you with that too. I'm your friend, Jeremy International. It's my birthday. Boy, at least the StartRec says I'm a doctor of dadness. I have a PhD in dadology and dadonomy. I just made that up. That's pretty funny. That was pretty funny, if I do say so myself, because those aren't real. Those aren't real fields of study. Ooh, a bullet. What is he doing in there? Is it just bullets? This game does give you a limited amount of ammo, so you gotta watch your corners here. But man, it's just simple game. You go left to right, you shoot the bad guys. I'm assuming that they're all, because they're wearing hoods, that they're all in the clan is what I'm saying. Oh my gosh, it's a shootout. What do I do? What do I do? Is this my life now? Am I doing this forever? Ah, he got me. He got me. Starrick says comedians are allowed to say they're funny. Okay, well, thank you. I guess you know I'm a some people have called me a comedian. I don't do like stand up seriously for many years or if ever, but you know I've written a joke or two, if you know what I mean. I don't know. So yeah, so today's my birthday, and I had therapy this morning, which is a good thing to do on your birthday. I highly recommend it. Kind of take stock of your life, you know, and what you got going on. And what I determined is I got a lot of good things going on. I've been real sad the last couple days just because, you know, life is sometimes sad. It's okay to be sad. You know, are if you're swimming in the ocean and you're in a place where there have been sharks before and you're scared of getting bitten by a shark, then that's a normal amount of fear. Just like if you're in your life and sad things happen and you're sad, that's healthy. That's what you should do. Sad things should make you sad. That's why they're called sad things. But if you're sitting on your sofa and you're scared of getting bitten by a shark, something's gone wrong. And you should, hopefully you're able to afford to and access it. You need to get some help. And that's what I say about sadness. If you're sad because something sad's happened, then, you know, lean into it, explore that feeling, try to understand, be sad because something sad happened and you should be sad. But if nothing sad has happened and you're sad, then I hope that you can see a doctor because something's gone wrong. And it's fine that something's gone wrong. Things go wrong with us all the time. People's brains are complicated. And like all parts of our bodies, they only kind of sort of work sometimes. And, you know, like people have this idea that like, you know, I don't know, that like evolution or God or whatever forms our bodies. Oh, here we go again, everybody. I got him. Is somehow like perfect. But people's bodies aren't perfect and they don't, that wasn't my fault. They don't work in perfect ways. There's all kinds of things that can go wrong in all parts of our bodies, including our brains. And so if you need help, get help. I hope that you can. We live in a country where, you know, a lot of people make it difficult to do that on purpose. But hopefully you are in a situation where you are not under the control of those people that want to make it difficult on purpose. Why they want to do that, I don't know. They should go to therapy. So this is Rolling Thunder, 1980, this is copyright 1986, 1989. I'm assuming this came out in 1989, and I'm playing it for the Famicom. Now, if you're not familiar, Famicom short for Family Computer. And it was what we got in the United States as the NES. Couple little differences, but almost exactly the same. But this is what Nintendo released in Japan, Famicom. And I am a video game collector, vintage video game collector, and most of my collection focuses on the Famicom. There were a lot of games that were released for the Famicom that never came over here for the NES. And also, they all come in these cute little boxes. Look how cute this little box is. So cute. That's really why. It's because of these adorable little boxes. So yeah, I haven't really been buying any games for a long time, because I don't have a job. But someday I'll have a job again, and then I can start buying games from Japan. It was kind of hard. The shipping outside of Japan got really expensive during the pandemic, so it's actually been quite a while since I've bought any Famicom games. And old video game in the collector's market prices have gone way up over the last few years, which is too bad. So yeah, so for those reasons, I haven't really been doing much collecting for quite a while. I have a lot of games already, so that's the good news. And for the last several weeks now, we've been playing Famicom games. We played the original Tetris for the Famicom, which is quite a bit different from the version of Tetris we got for the NES here in the States. And last week, we played Holy Diver, which is like a heavy metal Castlevania knockoff. Man, that guy gets me every time. Why? I wonder if I can go around him. I'm going to try that next time. I'm going to go around him. But I appreciate everybody joining in. Today is, in fact, my birthday. So happy birthday to me. I like my birthday. I usually get excited about my birthday. This one feels different because I'm so old now. But, you know, I'm hoping to get a lot older. That's kind of the dream, right? Look at this guy. You know, we all want to live to be old, don't we? I hope so. StartRec says 44 is a good year. 2 of the same number. That's true. The meeting of the fours, when 4 met 4, and there was 4 on the floor. Yeah, I guess, you know, everyone, once every 10 years, everybody gets a year with the same number twice. It does seem lucky. You know, in my experience, I find there's no such thing as luck, but my experience is kind of limited in those things because I don't really pay attention. So for people that do pay attention to luck and luckiness, maybe I have been. I mean, I'm lucky in that I'm fortunate. All right, now watch this. Yeah, I'm just going to go around. What do you think you're doing, buddy? That's right. Can I shoot up? No. Can I? Haha! Oh, wait, I have a machine gun now? When did I get the machine gun? That's fun. Although saying machine gun is fun in 2023 in America feels a little gross. But it's a video game. It's not, you know, it's fun. It's meant to be fun. Wow, when did I get that? I feel like is this a boss? Is this a boss battle? What's happening? Do I just, all right, well, here I go. Nope. This is the problem with old video games is no one was like, he can't see the guy and he's going to fall off of there and then die right away. No one was like, yeah, we need to fix that. They were just like, yeah, that's how video games are. Nowadays, they'd be like, no way, we can't do that. But, oh, well, where did he go then? I guess oh. Yeah. That's old video games for you. This is my last guy. I'm a little nervous. So yeah, but I've got a bunch of questions lined up. We're gonna go over them with Andrew Grossman in the second hour. I have an album of the week I'm gonna share. Very, very important album to me in my lifetime. Oh, these are like tires. I'll share that in a little bit. Actually, I think I'll save that, and Andrew and I can talk about that in the next hour. Because he's always a fun guy to talk. Gotta start all over again. He's a fun guy to talk to music about. Yeah, let's go around the horn. Let's see where everybody's at. So we got one person, possibly me, possibly Eichel on YouTube. We've got, hard to tell, a few people on Facebook. Wow, that almost never happens. But I see a few people are following along on the FB. And then we got a whole bunch of people and growing on Twitch. So hi, everybody. Thanks for joining. If you're new, this is the advice stream. I'm JeremyInternational. And today's my birthday. We're playing a very old video game from either 1986 or 1989 called Rolling Thunder for the Japanese Nintendo. It was called the Famicom. We're going to pick that back up in a minute. If you would like to seek advice during the show today, please feel free to put it in the comment section on whichever website you're watching the stream from, or you can go to JeremyInternational.com. There's a contact form at the bottom, and you can send me a question anonymously through there. It asks for an email address, but I can tell you from firsthand experience that you can just write no@no.com, and I'll get it anyway, so it doesn't matter. Do you guys want to, so I had, because it was my birthday, I had Chinese food for dinner. Should I open, I got a fortune cookie. I haven't opened it or read the fortune yet. Should I do it? Should I do it? Can you guys hear this? Is this ASMR in anybody? Is anybody ASMR'd right now? Let's see what my fortune says. Crunch. You can read the fortune if you haven't eaten all of the cookie, right? I'll have a little bit of the cookie. This is what people want on a live stream is crunchy food. Okay. It says, you will soon be changing your present line of work. Well, I hope so, because I don't have a job and I would like one. So I guess that means that I'll have a job? Is that what you're telling me, Cookie? How do you know? How do you know? I'm going to have another little bite. Cool. All right, so we're gonna have another swing. I applied for a couple jobs last week, a few of which I'm really excited about I could do. I think I'd like doing. I hope I get them. Doing a mukbang. You know, what goes real good with a fortune cookie is washing it down with a little bit of today's unofficial sponsor, Elijah Craig Bourbon, small batch. Elijah Craig has given me no money. But if you're out there, Elijah, if you're listening, give me some money, please. At least one or two people watching this are going to go buy a bottle now, right? Drink responsibly. All right, here we go. Starting all over again. Because, oh no, I don't have to start all over again. What a world. What a world indeed. Getting that guy before you get to the very bottom, that's the way to go. That's the way to do it. PG Doug said earlier that the guys in the yellow hoods look like they're crying when you shoot them for the first time. And maybe they are, but I think that they're in the clan. So, you know, screw them. I don't care. Oh, God. Oh, God. Oh, God. Oh, no. That's going to be a hard one. This guy's going to be difficult, but we're going to do it. We're going to do it. Here we go. This time he's not going to get me because I know what I'm going to do now. Because I know what I'm going to do now. Hey, pink guy, you didn't jump that far last time, did you? What am I supposed to do here? Does he reload? Ugh. My controller's not great. Also, don't play this game with a controller that you took apart yourself. Because now I'm having a hard time going right. Is that my fault? That was my plan. It wasn't a very good one. You know, here's the thing about the advice stream is I never said I was going to be good at any of these games. We played some good games. We played some not good games. But I definitely have never been good at any of them. So if you want to watch a stream where someone is competent at playing video games, this is not one of those. I'm sure there are lots of other people out there with streams where they're good, and good for them. But this isn't one of those. Why can't I? Ah. Well, we're gonna do one more, and then it'll be time to wrap it up, anyways, because we're gonna have our special guest on. Special guest, which I always like way better than playing the video games. I'm actually thinking about doing 2 guests and not doing video games. What do people think about that? People like the video games. I do, because it gives me something to do in the first, little few minutes while I'm waiting for people to show. But especially when, why? It's one of those games where you have to push the direction before you jump. StartRec likes the games. I like the games too, StartRec. But 2 guests, I know. But also, like, then I have to find 2 people. And that seems like work. So, I don't know. We'll stick with this format for now. But I think there's going to be a time in the future where I'm just going to have, like, a panel, I think. I think that'll be fun. And, and I'm very fortunate in my life at this stage, at approaching mid-40s, where I know some pretty great people. And I've had several of them on the show before, including StartRec, who was a great contributor to the program. And so, I'm lucky in that way that I don't have a lot of, like, uninteresting or, just like unchill people. So in my life, I've got that guy never shot before, right? He never had a gun before that. We're going to do one more. You could always just make me your Andy Richter. StartRec, you wouldn't need to be an Andy Richter. You could just be you. And I got nothing against Andy. If you're watching out there, Andy, big fan of the show. Is he on a show still? Didn't he leave Conan like a million years ago? StartRec says, you could be the late show. I'll be the late show when I start my Twitch. That's a good idea. I like that. I like that idea. The late stream. But then, the problem with that is, well, I guess that's how TV works too. I was going to say that, people watching the internet all over the world, so that might not be late where they are. But that's how TV works. So why not? Why not, I say. Okay, this is it. This is the time I'm going to do it. And it's going to be so cool. You guys are going to be so impressed. I got to back up. And jump. And you jump. And you jump. And then another guy kills you. In that life, that's life right there, is you jump over the one guy and then the next guy just gets you. So what's even the point, What are we even doing here in our lives? That's the advice I'm giving you, is sure, jump over that guy. But just remember, there's some other guy. There's always some other guy. There's always guys. StarRec says, you tend to play games with reaction time. I prefer turn-based. It'd be perfect. That's a good point. The trick with playing old video games is they're all reaction time. For recreational purposes, I usually play games that are more like strategic. But for whatever reason, I've committed to doing the oldies. So that's what we're doing. I've been playing a modern game on PC called Dyson Sphere program or project or something. Has anybody heard of that game before, where you're like engineering and building a GD Dyson Sphere? It is very in-depth, very complicated, very addictive. And it's one of those games where you start playing it and you blink your eyes and it's been like 4 hours. Last night, because it's my birthday, and on my birthday I do what I want, I was up till 3 o'clock in the morning playing it. I'm not ashamed. It's my birthday. Okay. 5 minutes, and then we're going to take a break, and we're going to come back, with our special guest. This guy's gonna get me again. There's no even point. There's no point. Why? Same exact thing happened. Eichel says FilmCow does a GOS stream too, where he just streams authentic consoles, everything before Xbox 360, I think. Oh, that's cool. He even streamed the Virtual Boy, which he said was a hassle. I'd imagine the Virtual Boy is, I've played it once, is a hassle just to play, let alone stream. I'm lucky in that once upon a time, when I had disposable income, that I had several of my consoles modded so they output it through HDMI at 1080. And I'm using a Famicom that was modded that way. Now, I have a PlayStation 1 that was also modded that way, and I have probably the most valuable, hardest for me to find game in my video game collection is I have the original Silent Hill on the PlayStation. And I was thinking about streaming that, but I think that would have to be its own stream because I don't think I could play that and do the advice thing at the same time. I think that might be too much to put on myself. But I really want to play that game on the PlayStation, and I feel like doing like a weekly stream where that's all I'm doing would be a good way. A good way to do that. Who has time to do all these streams? I only have one, but at the moment, but you know, I think, yeah, I could do that on Halloween, although Halloween seems so far away. But that would be fun. I think I am gonna, by the way, I don't know if I've announced this to the gang, to the audience, but I think I am gonna start doing a second stream next week during the day on Wednesdays, where I'm gonna, for an hour or two, I'm gonna reorganize and start to catalog my record collection. And I'm just gonna live stream that. We can talk about music. It'll be sometime during the day on Wednesdays, not this week, but next week. So stay tuned to JeremyInternational.com for more information about that. But that'll be fun. It's a project I've been meaning to do for a long time. And I have pretty good, like my Famicom collection. I'm pretty proud of my record collection. I don't buy a lot of records anymore because, well, in addition to not having a lot of money, but also because my collection is so well curated. There's just not a lot of stuff. There's a little bit, but not a lot of stuff I even feel like I want to add in anymore. Yeah, so stay tuned. We'll probably, but we'll probably be doing that starting next week. During the day, if you work from home, if you're not in a meeting or something, and you know, like people do, what is that called? Like body shadowing, where people get work done better if they're sitting next to someone that's also working. So we can kind of do, you know, like a work from home stream. You doing your thing, I'm doing my thing. We can hang out and talk about music while we're doing it. Why not? While I have free time during the day. So yeah, I'm excited about that. Okay, let's go ahead and take 10 minutes. When I come back, we will have our special guest. I will have my album of the week that I will share. And then we have a lot of advice questions to get through. We'll get through them all, hopefully. So we'll see you then. So see you back here in at least whatever time it is for you at 10 p.m. Eastern time. I'll put a timer up for 10 minutes, and I'll see you guys shortly. Hey, everybody, we're back. This is the advice stream. I am Jeremy International. We're live on Facebook. We're live on YouTube. We are live on Twitch. We're live at JeremyInternational.com. Just throwing it out there. Hey, everybody, we're back. Oh my goodness! Wait, I got to echo now. Why does this happen every time? Facebook, we're live. I hate the sound of my own voice so much, and then to hear it here and then there is just no. It's not a good look. We have our special guest for this second hour. This is my friend, your friend, overall rad dude, musician, frontman. Is that your job title? Can we say frontman from the North Country?
Frontman, front person.
Front person. That's way better. Thank you. Andrew Grossman, thanks for joining us, Andrew.
I'm happy to be here.
Thanks. Andrew and I, while we were waiting, were just talking about how everyone's getting old, but just seeing like the people that we used to think were old like are now actually old, and it's
right.
Yeah. So Andrew, just so that you know, we got chats coming in from all of the different places. I'm keeping an eye on everything. You won't see it. There are some people in the chat that we know very well, but they don't use their real names, so I'm not going to use their real names either.
Okay.
If you're out there and you want to share what your actual name is and not your screen name, just let me know so that Andrew knows.
You know that we know them.
Yes, and
okay.
And when anyways.
Okay,
But we got some comments in from the chat. Our very dear friend Nermelson, I bet if you think about it, you know who that is. Put a purple heart up, which I guess means he thinks that we've been wounded in combat. So that's nice of him to think that.
Yeah, for valor.
We did it for the valor. There's one thing the two of us have a lot of, and it's valor.
It's valor, in spades.
In spades. So we were just playing Rolling Thunder, which is a video game from 1989. It was in arcades. I remember playing it at my neighborhood putt-putt. I was playing it for the Famicom, and I love that game, but it is hard. And I'm glad that I'm not doing that in front of people anymore, because it was terrible. But we have a lot. So, Andrew, we have a lot that we can do. I like to keep things open-ended. But the first question I normally ask, since this is the advice stream, we're going to get to the advice in a minute. Yes. If you have a piece of advice that you have been given or heard in your life that is particularly noteworthy, whether it's really good or really bad. And hang on, and Normalson says, I'm pretty sure Henry Kissinger wrote that game. Rolling Thunder, yeah. Is that a the air campaign in Vietnam reference there, Normalson? Because you're really digging in to the
campaign in Cambodia.
Cambodia, thank you.
Firebombing in Cambodia.
No, this game isn't that. Most of the people that you're shooting in this game are wearing hoods. I think that this is an anti-Ku Klux Klan game. At least because everyone has a hood of different colors. Yeah, I get it, Normalson. Cool. So, Andrew, is there a piece of advice that you can think of that's particularly noteworthy that you would like to share with the audience?
Yes.
Go ahead. Yes. Let's hear it.
Well, is this good advice or bad advice?
I mean, I personally think the bad advice is funnier, but the good advice is maybe what people are here to hear.
Can I do one of each?
Oh, please. Yeah, we got a whole hour.
I'll start with the bad advice.
Okay.
And the bad advice was from my parents. And it was encouraging me to go to grad school.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's never good advice.
First, and I was like, I was kind of, this was in college, and I was, waving big flags that, like, I'm a musician. I need to be playing music. And they're like, no, you should go to grad school. And not listening to that advice was one of the best things I ever did.
I can tell you, regardless of what you wanted to study, And I am a big fan of your music, and you guys are going on tour and you're putting out albums and you're doing super well, and that's wonderful. But going to grad school is almost never the right move, I think, for anyone. I went to grad school, and
Yeah,
I'll be paying off that loan until I'm 60, um,
yeah,
which I guess isn't all that far away now. Sad
yeah.
face.
There. Yeah, I mean, I think that there are certainly professions where it's the right choice.
Yeah,
There's certainly lines of work where it's the best thing to do. It was not for me. So I don't want to like knock grad school by and large because I think it makes sense for some people,
for
but it
some people, depending on your profession,
right.
if you could go for free, would you go?
Ooh. To grad school?
Yeah, study anything you want, anywhere.
Well, you can buy books
That is true. You can buy books.
for cheap, or not that much, and you can see like lectures on YouTube.
Yeah.
So I don't know that I would, just because it's already available to
Yeah.
me.
There's a part of me that really likes sitting in a classroom and having like a
Yeah,
class schedule
yeah,
that I miss. If I could go, if it was
I can see that.
free, and it wasn't going to take away like time from, like, if I didn't have a job,
Right.
which I don't,
Okay.
but had unlimited funds and lots of
Right.
free time, I think I'd go and do something like history related.
Yeah.
And then, if there was like an assignment that was too much work, I'd be like, yeah, I'm just not going to do that.
Right. I think the things that I would like to go to a class for would be like woodworking
Yeah, okay.
or like something like that, or like car repair,
Interesting.
that sort of thing. So I don't know if like anything that I think would be taught in grad school, I think I might just buy the book and read it on my own and enjoy it more that way.
Yeah, that's a good point. And this is riveting information I'm about to share everyone for our audience. But in order to boost up my resume, I took an online class in instructional design through the University of Illinois.
Uh,
And it was not very interesting information, but like having to like sit down with like my notes and like get ready to study and
yeah.
having to take like tests, I
Right.
was shocked and a little disappointed, I guess, in how much I like doing that. But I mean, that was,
Yeah.
one class, which was, a few hours a week, and that was it. So if I had to do
Yeah.
that a lot,
Yeah.
maybe I wouldn't.
Yeah.
Eichel says, well, let's go back in the chat a little bit. So
Okay.
Start Rec, who we also know, um,
Start rec.
Start Rec, said, I'd go back for free and get the YouTube's time in to deprogram from neoliberalism. Of course he would, Start Rec. Uh, Eichel says, you could go to YouTube for woodworking too. That's true. Probably there's someone on
Yeah.
YouTube that'll teach you
Yeah.
woodworking, but you gotta have someone to be like, yeah, you did that, but you should do it this way instead. I feel
Yeah.
like,
Mentorship. That's the appeal.
yeah.
Is like if you could have a mentor, that would be.
Starrick says there should be a PhD in car repair.
Yeah.
I agree with that. Normalson says guitar repair, if that's a thing you can go to grad school for.
You could. That's YouTube right there.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Can I share my good piece of advice?
Please, please.
So I got this piece of advice from when I was living in Columbia Heights. This was maybe 7 years ago, 8 years ago, and I was just starting to date my now wife, and we had things were going great generally, but we like got into some stupid argument,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
and it might have been like our first big argument, and I was sitting on the stoop with my roommates and our neighbor, this older African American gentleman, Carl, was hanging out there, and we were friendly with Carl, and I asked Carl, Carl, do you have any dating advice? I just had this argument with my girlfriend, and he said, well, whatever happens, She could be as wrong as hell. Just go up to her and say, "Baby, it was my fault. I'm sorry."
Uh,
And it's been some of the best advice I've ever received.
uh, that I feel like that's good advice for a lot of different things. You ever hear this
So,
phrase? This is one of the things my dad says a lot. Sometimes, not always, but sometimes peace is more important than justice. And if you're in a fight and being in a relationship with someone means fighting, there's no way to do it and not fight.
right,
Uh,
right.
Sometimes you gotta lose, even if you don't
Yeah,
think you're wrong. The other person's views are valid too.
yeah.
Just to check in with everyone real quick, I had a comment that we needed to boost the volume on Andrew. Can everyone hear Andrew better? I
Can you
boosted
hear
the
me
volume a
now?
little bit.
Yes? No, I don't know. The that sentiment is really interesting. Sometimes peace is more important than justice
Yeah, yeah,
because that could have interesting applications in like a relationship in a home. It could have interesting applications in society.
yeah.
Um,
I
it,
think I think
in both cases, it requires forgiveness,
yeah.
which is a hard thing to do if you feel you've been wronged.
And there are lots of times where nothing is more important than justice, and
Sure,
peace
sure,
oftentimes, sometimes that's the only way to get justice is to
right,
sacrifice peace.
right.
But at least for, like, I don't know whose turn it is to take out the trash or
Oh yeah,
who changed the poopy
right,
diaper yesterday,
right.
on that scale, I think peace is oftentimes preferable to justice.
Yeah, in it, yeah. Ju- yeah, justice in a marriage. It's not that's
That's not necessarily the context for it.
it's not even worth pursuing
Yeah.
sometimes.
When
Rarely ever.
when I got engaged, the relationship advice my dad gave me is the secret to happy relationship is compromise. And you reach compromise when both parties are equally miserable. And I also live by that every day. Um, let's go back to the chat. Well, let's do our little show call sign here. This is the advice stream. I'm Jeremy International. This is my special guest, musician Andrew Grossman. We're
Hello.
live on YouTube. We're live on Twitch. We're live on Facebook. If you would like to seek advice, we're going to get into the meat of the show here in just a minute. We got lots of questions, some of which have come in through the website, some of which I borrowed from the internet. Please go to JeremyInternational.com. There's a contact form. You got to scroll down to the bottom. I'll get those questions almost immediately. And Andrew and I are going to figure it out for you. We're going to help you out.
We're here to help.
And we're here to help. We are ready to believe you. That's a Ghostbusters reference. Okay, I don't know why that just kind of stuck into my head there. Okay, let's start. Let's start with a brief one. We'll ease our way in. Okay.
Right.
Some of these get real long and wordy, but this one's kind
Okay.
of short.
Okay.
Okay, so we've been together for over 2 years. I'm not sure who he is.
This is great.
We spend a lot of our time together. We get along great with ups and downs like anyone else. I think I'm ready for the next step. I'm just afraid of rejection, I guess. I'm not sure what the criteria is for asking someone to get a place together. Like if there's a length of time you should when you should ask. I think she's the one, but I feel like I won't really know until we actually share a life together. She said during conversations that she couldn't wait for things like us having our own kitchen to fix up, getting a puppy together and gardening together, things couples that live together do. So this makes me think she's at least open to it. How should I go about asking her?
Wow.
How do you ask someone to move in with you? That's a big commitment. That's a big
Wow.
step, not just in a relationship, but in a life.
Do we have a name behind this question?
No, this one came in anonymously.
Wow. And we don't know how long they've been together
It says we've been together for over 2 years,
or
actually.
over 2 years.
Yeah.
Okay. Man, I feel like the best thing to do. Well, okay, let's talk. Let's talk this out. So,
Let's talk it out. That's what we're
yeah,
here to do.
they're not, I think you definitely run the risk of. Well, if they're someone that you, if it's gonna work out, where if you do move together
Uh-huh.
and it's gonna work out, I think that they would be someone who, if you were to say, "Do you want to move in together?" too early, that wouldn't be a deal breaker.
Yeah.
Like let's say they are the one, and you say you take the step too early, and they'd say maybe let's not just yet,
Uh-huh.
but maybe let's do it down the road. Then at least you're having a conversation.
Yeah.
And then if you say it too early, after 2 years, they've been together
Yes, it says over 2 years.
over 2 years, and then if you bring it up and then they get freaked out and run away, and that's the end of the relationship. Good. That better that happens now
Yeah.
than once you've like moved in together. So I think just be open and ask over dinner or something like that.
Yeah. That to me is the most interesting thing about this is you just ask. Like
Yeah.
I get like the question of how do I make the decision about whether I want to move in with someone? That's a big question. And that's something that I think anyone should take really seriously and think about. But how do I ask? Is
Yeah.
you know, if you are a romantic person, yeah, go out and have a nice dinner, make it a thing
Right.
if you want to. I
Right.
think that would be nice. That I would hope that would be my style, although it's been an awful long time since I've asked anyone to move in with me. Um, but I mean, and the thing about like waiting, they say something about what's like the criteria for waiting. Like I don't know, any time period you put on it is arbitrary, but I think that 2 years is sufficient by almost anyone's
Yeah, that's I mean that's
measurement.
or it's enough where you you can like there's no harm in bringing up the subject.
Yeah,
You can say like, "What do you think about at some point?" Oh, sorry. About,
church music.
yeah, about at some point moving in together. Like it not like ask the question, "Will you move in with me?" which is like very direct, but like just open up the conversation of
Yeah,
like, "Have you ever thought of us moving in together? What do you think of this?" And then you can like talk and see where the other person is, and it's not this like scary mystery. Like, will I scare this person off?
yeah. I think the idea like talking about it, like when someone proposes to get married and like they do the whole stupid thing where they like get on their knee or whatever,
Right?
and then the
Did you
person
not get on your knee?
no, I was sitting down already. We were both sitting
Yes,
down.
I got down on one
Oh
knee.
wow.
I
Well,
did it.
now who's the romantic
Right.
person? It was very nice, but we were sitting
I'm
down.
sure it was great.
I
I'm
thought
sure.
about it, but I was like, it'd be weird. I'm sitting down already.
Okay.
Uh,
I was
so,
at your wedding too, and your wedding was lovely. So
thank you, and you made it partly lovely because you played wonderful music for us, so I
that's true.
appreciate it.
Yeah.
But like when someone says no, when someone like gets down on their knee and asks, "Will you marry me?" and then the other person says no, like is that the first time you talked about it?
Yeah.
Like,
That's
how did you not know that she was
right.
gonna say no?
Yeah.
The same
Yeah.
thing about like maybe don't say, "Hey, let's move in." Maybe say, "Hey, I've been thinking about how we should move in together. We spend a lot of time together. Let's start having that conversation. We don't need to do it tomorrow. We don't need to do it next week, but let's start talking." When when the person who is now my wife and I moved in together, which was, a number of years before we got married, both of us had live-in relationships before and they both ended not great for anybody.
Mm.
So we were both hesitant to move in, but things were going really, really well between the two of us right from the bat. And we kept like putting like arbitrary, like we'll talk about moving in together in a year. let's take a year and we'll go back and forth between each other's houses, but we won't even let's not even. I mean, it was mostly me, I think, saying I don't even want to talk about it until it's been a year, just because I was like hesitant. And then we were in like in the mall and like walked past the Bed Bath Beyond or something like that, or like a Crate and Barrel or something. And I was like, this is dumb. Let's just go. Let's buy a set of glasses and let's just move in together. Like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
And we moved in together. We had been dating for less than a year. And I would normally say that that's not a great idea to do that quickly, but we weren't kids. We had both been
Right.
through it before. We knew what we were doing. And
Do
so we went for it.
we know
Eichel,
the
oh,
do
I'm
we know
sorry.
the age of the
No, no
question?
information about that. I'm assuming it's a younger person, I would guess.
Okay.
Eichel on Twitch says, oh, hold on. I think there's a couple other things I gotta. So StarRec first off says that rent is expensive. That is true, and you can save at least some money by getting a place together.
Sure.
StarRec said I drew a ring on my ex-wife's finger with a Sharpie. That's how he proposed. I actually think that's nice, Eichel, but I'm sure that's not the reason it didn't work out. Do you recommend Eichel says, I'm sorry, StarRec drew the ring on their now ex-wife's finger. Eichel asked, do you recommend I do this, or is she your ex for this reason? Because I really want to do that. StarRec says, I do not recommend. Yeah, you gotta proceed cautiously. The last thing I'll say about this that kind of sticks out to me about this question is the person says, I'm afraid of rejection. And like, I think that's a normal feeling. No one likes rejection, right. But also that's what like dating and to find, if you're dating to find like a partner, like a real partner, then that's part of the price of admission. You gotta be ready. You gotta be willing to lose big if you want to win big when it comes to dating.
That's part of the fun. That's what makes the when they say, if they being whoever says yes eventually, that's what makes it so rewarding, is that it was such a risk to even ask in the first place.
I agree. The last thing I would say to this person after everything else is it's totally normal to be afraid of rejection, but you gotta risk it if you wanna. Oh man, I wish I could rhyme that. You gotta risk it if you want to frisk it, man. You know what I'm saying?
There it is. Great.
StarRec said we also forged our gold wedding rings from liquid gold at a jeweler's place. That seems like a lot of work, StarRec.
Nice. StarRec.
Hey, Shitbasket's here. I don't know who you are, Shitbasket, but you said it, not me. I'm just reading your name. We try not to swear on the advice stream, but we end up doing it anyways. Well, it's SH numeral 1T basket. Okay. I don't know what else that could be besides Shitbasket. Thanks for the happy birthday wishes, Shitbasket. I appreciate it. I've never been wished happy birthday
by a basket of shit.
By a basket of shit before. Shitbasket says, OMG, how do I change my username? I don't know, Shitbasket. Eichel says, risk it for the biscuit. That's the one I was looking for.
Oh, that is better than frisk it.
Yeah, Shitbasket is Joanna, by the way. Hi, Joanna. That's a great screen name. You should not change it. You shouldn't.
Let's do more questions.
Let's do more questions. Okay, we're going to do one more, and then I'm going to share my album of the week. I do this every week, my album of the week. No one cares but me, but I do it anyways.
That's all right. I care.
Okay, this one's a little bit longer, and this one didn't come from the website. I got this from a different source, and this person is something. Here we go.
Can you say what the source is?
From some advice column on the internet. I read advice. Okay. That's kind of the origin of this show, is I'm reading a lot of advice columns. I don't read the answer. I just read the questions.
Oh, I see.
And I feel like I always got something interesting to say about it. So I just decided to do it on the internet. Why not?
Okay, cool.
Okay. Oh, wait, that's not the one I thought it was. Here, I'll just give you, I'm going to read another one, but I'm going to give you a summary. This guy said, but he works for a big company. He's remote. It's like a Fortune 500 company. He gets
Mhm.
all of his work done, all of his responsibilities done for the week in about 8 hours and has nothing else to do. And he's miserable. And he said it shattered his self-esteem. And he doesn't know who he is anymore. And he's stressed out and he doesn't know what to do. And I'm like, man, that's not a problem. You're lucky. Go do something with that time. You have time. No one has time.
Yeah.
That's the one thing that no one ever has enough of. Go find
You
a
know,
meaning that's not your work.
I it's I'm a person who, with time, like I make projects for myself.
Yeah.
Like I'm usually not uh lacking in like things to do.
Yeah. Me
Some
neither.
people though need structure. Like they need to be they need to have someone above them telling them what they, it's like different stages of the hierarchy.
I I understand that for sure. And if this guy needs structure, that's good. And him being bored is one thing, but him like not having a sense of self, like, if you're like, I don't know, like performing eye surgery on
Right,
children or something, then yeah, then your
right,
work should be your life. But if he's like some like administrator, like a marketing guy for a giant corporation, like either quit your job and find something that
yeah,
makes you busier, or take this gift of all of this time
right,
and go
right,
find something rewarding and meaningful to do with your life. People that their whole identity is their job. Uh, I mean, it's easier for me to say because I don't have a job, but it blows my mind uh, when people are like that. Oh, Starrick has a question for you, Andrew.
all right,
It's
cool.
not an advice question, but it's a question. Cover songs. What are your opinion as training tools for beginner musicians? That's a good one.
Oh, in learning a cover song.
Yeah, can you clarify? Starrick says, look at the instruments surrounding him. He and his wife with great fashion sense too. Startrick is always very complimentary on everyone. Startrick is just a wonderful person. Uh, Startrick says yes. I'm sorry. So you're asking Startrick about what? I don't understand. Cover songs. What is your opinion as training tools for beginner musicians? Like which cover songs you should learn as training tools? Is that what you're asking, Startrick? There's like a 30-second delay from when we talk to when we get a response.
Oh, my God. Let's check. Hold on, Jeremy. Hold on, there may be a cat issue real quick.
Okay.
Hold on, give me 1 second.
We're a cat friendly show. Take your time. Andrew will be right back, everyone. He's having a cat related issue. Thanks for clarifying, Start Rec. I'll share that with Andrew when he comes back. Because I do have free time, although I spend a lot of time looking for jobs, I've been thinking about dusting off my old guitar and trying to relearn. I used to play all the time. I don't anymore. But I don't know, Stark. Maybe you and I can jam. Normalson, I'll share your question when Andrew comes back too. Whenever there's a moment, I'm okay.
All right, I'm back.
Okay. Yeah. So StartRec's question to clarify is, yeah, like what cover songs to use as a tool to better learn an instrument.
Do we have the instrument in question?
That's a good question. I'm assuming StartRec. StartRec also says, or learning to play music in general in front of people. I have stage fright problems. StarRec says auto harp. LOL. I'm assuming guitar. I don't know.
Auto harp is a different thing. Um, I think I think country songs generally are probably good for auto harp
Hmm.
because they're pretty simple in terms of like the chords, and I think if I know, I'm not like an expert in auto harp, so, but I think it's like you push buttons and it like and then strum and the buttons make different chords. I think country songs are probably the best
Huh.
bet. You could also you can also uh, you can just if there's a song that you like, you can just type in the title of the song and chords into Google, and you can usually find the chords for them uh, and on like ultimateguitar.com or something like that. So
Good to know.
sky's the limit. Start with country songs, some pop songs. But you can really do anything.
I've looked up auto harp. It is not a harp that is also a car. That's what I had assumed. That's what I was picturing. So learned a lesson about musical instruments today. Yeah, right. It's a car that turns into an instrument,
Right.
and then back into a car.
Auto harp.
Normalson says another question for Andrew. Whenever there's a moment, I'm soldering a guitar pickup right now. It's the first time I've soldered anything. Anything I should know. Well, I think you need some really good ventilation there, Normalson. Make sure that you have a window open.
I've done soldering without good ventilation, and
Oh.
I don't know. It probably was ill advised. You should probably have good ventilation.
I don't know a lot about soldering, but I feel like because there's little smoke that comes up, you're burning something.
Right. Does Normalson have the gun or like the rod?
What kind of soldering tool are you using? Normalson says also, should there be this much fire and pain? I don't think there should be any fire, but probably a little bit of pain. It helps with songwriting, the fumes, Startrek says. Okay, so Normalson's using an iron.
Okay. I've always just kind of faked my way around soldering, like because you gotta like heat up the little like
the flux.
Of solder.
Is there flux? Is flux involved? Isn't there flux?
I don't know if there's flux.
I feel like flux is a thing that's involved.
You like heat up the solder until it and then it liquefies into this like liquid metal.
Yeah.
And then it
like
cools
Terminator
really,
2.
Yeah, exactly. Only it's not trying to kill you, it's just trying to connect circuits.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
It could probably kill you though.
If it were big enough and had like a consciousness or whatever. It just it's so you're just kind of like just trying to it's cool because it like turns to liquid and then it cools and hardens, turns back into a solid very quickly. And I don't know, I just play around with it. I don't know that I don't think I'm that good with it that I have anything explicit to say, so I would just say play around.
PG Doug says having good quality soldering iron with a selectable temperature control and having a good cleaned and tinned up makes a huge difference.
Okay.
Well, that's good to know. I want to start soldering. Wear shoes too. I once had a hot bead of solder fall between my toes. Oh, that smarts, I bet. Okay. Let's save the soldering talk for, I'm going to start doing another stream called Solder Talk with Jeremy International. Okay, so here goes our next question. This did not come through the website. I found this from the internet. I work in a large, diverse organization. I have age-related hearing loss and wear hearing aids, but nobody knows, I think, because of my own anxiety about ageism. I have to attend lots of meetings. One staff person is still wearing a mask because of their own health conditions. This is obviously fine except for one thing. They are not a native English speaker and have a very heavy accent. Their English is excellent, but their accent makes it hard for me to understand them, even with my hearing aids. And due to the mask, I lose my ability to lip read and get those other cues. They are so important to comprehension. This is an extremely common aspect of hearing loss and the loss of the ability to understand accents, but it's also a sensitive issue, I think. I would like to ask them to lower their mask while they are speaking. I sit close to them, but it's still very difficult for me to hear everything they are saying, and I know I'm missing some of it. There are competing priorities, both of which are valuable. Her mask health and mask slash health and my hearing, and I don't know the most tactful way to approach. Blah blah blah. How should I proceed? So this person is has age-related hearing loss, wears hearing aids, but doesn't want anybody to know. Has a hard time understanding this person that's wearing a mask because they have health issues, and their solution is they're going to ask the person to take off their mask. They want to know how they should ask them to do that.
I mean, this feels like it's just an issue of not feeling comfortable with being direct. Like you could, like, if this, to use like a stereotype here, if this would never happen with, like, if the old person with hearing loss were like an Israeli person, because they would just say, "I can't hear you."
Yeah.
You know, so I don't know. You just gotta say it. You just gotta be. It's like one of those situations where it's like you just have to talk. You just have to ask and be honest and upfront. I think otherwise this goes on and on.
I agree with that, and I think erring on the side of directness is always a good idea. I think that asking someone that has health risks to lower their mask is a little bit of a bridge too far.
Yes. I don't know that they should ask them to, like, lower their mask, but I think they should express that they would like to hear them.
Yeah.
And they have trouble hearing them.
And not knowing how old this person is, this to me just kind of like rings, kind of speaks towards, I think, a lot of the issues I have with like the baby boomer generation in general is I'm having a hard time understanding this person. So what do they need to do to make it clear for me instead of what do I need to do? Like, this might be the time where you don't keep your hearing aids a secret anymore and communicate to HR that you're having some problems, you need accommodation. Hearing aids have volume controls. Maybe you need to get better hearing aids. I'm not saying that asking the person to lower their mask should be off the table, but you got to try everything else first, because that's a big ask. I'm an immune compromised person. I'm not really wearing a mask anymore. I probably should be, but I made that choice for myself. And but if someone, when I was wearing a mask, if someone said, "Hey, for my purposes, I need you to lower your mask for me," I'd be like, "No way."
Yeah, that's shitty.
Yeah. I think they need to make sure that they're doing everything else first. And this idea of saying, "I don't want people to know I have hearing aids, so I'm going to ask this person to risk their health so that I can continue to keep it a secret." I think, to me, that's the subtext of this.
Also, what's this person with the mask saying that's so special? I mean, maybe...
Yeah, I know.
Not such a bad thing that you can't hear what they're saying.
Yeah, and depending on how old you are, why don't maybe this is time for you to retire and take some of the Social Security money we've given you that we'll never see ourselves. I'm just saying. That's ageism right there, and I apologize.
Do you have any questions from people who have submitted?
No.
Okay.
No, I don't. I was kind of implying that I had those because I was thinking that it's like, putting a couple bucks in the bottom of a tip jar, that if people think there's questions there, they'll be more likely to submit their own. There have been shows where I've had more questions submitted than I had time to get through. But this ain't one of those, clearly. Okay. But that's a good sign. It means that all of the audience have perfect lives. They don't have any problems. And good for them. I've got a comment from Shitbasket. Shitbasket says, I would tell the person the issue and let them make suggestions based on what they are comfortable with. That's the play there, shit basket. That's exactly what you do.
Yeah.
Is you tell the person, hey, I'm sometimes having a hard time hearing what you're saying. What can we figure out together? Uh,
Right.
that's how you do it. That's the class act move from the always classy shit basket. Do you want to see my record of the week? You want to see my
Yeah, I
pick?
do.
Do you know this one? Can you see this? Okay, this is
That you too.
yeah. This is Boy. This is their first album, and I was out and about today. I have like a playlist that I made for my birthday a million years ago that I forgot about and listened to today. I'll put it up on my blog. Might have to wait till tomorrow, but I'll do that. And there's a couple songs from this album that popped up in that playlist. We can say good things and bad things about U2 all day long. And I would definitely say that they've maybe overstayed their welcome by about 20 years. But this album is perfect. There's not a song to skip on it. And this is, in a lot of ways, for people that know me really well would understand why, this is in a lot of ways the soundtrack to my like early teens, and it just made me feel really good to listen to this. I took a break and listened to the whole thing today, and it made me happy.
Nice. Is that the one with "I Will Follow"
Yeah,
on it?
yeah,
Yeah, I like that song.
yeah. I've danced my face off to that song many times. But if you haven't heard it all the way through, you should. It's good.
Yeah, yeah,
It's a good one.
yeah. I'm definitely partial to the Joshua Tree. I think that's a great
Yeah,
record.
the Joshua Tree is so good. My what's a million years ago now, they went on tour and they just played that album. And my brother and sister and I went. It was the first time that just the three of us had hung out in forever, and it was such a good show. Like they know how to put on a show. They spend money on that show, and it's a good one.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, I think it was the first time I had seen a musical performance since I was in high school where the audience was more than like 400 people, I think. Because I had just never been. It was at a big stadium. It was crazy. That's something I gotta deal with. I haven't seen live music in so long. Just
Really?
the pandemic, and then having a kid, and then moving out of the city. You guys did a festival in Norfolk this weekend. Did you say
Yeah,
that?
that's correct. We played. It was called Lava Fest, and
Sounds
it
dangerous.
was really cool.
The floor is
yeah.
Lava Fest. Got it.
Yeah,
I'll look it up.
Yeah, small festival in Norfolk, Virginia. It was really good. It was a lot of fun. The other bands were really cool. I wore a green jumpsuit.
I saw the pictures.
Yeah, and so the jumpsuit I got from this website called Big Bud Press,
Okay.
and I had forgotten that that's where I had gotten it. I got it like a while ago,
Mhm.
and someone from the crowd while we were setting up saw me on stage wearing the jumpsuit and yelled out, "Is that Big Bud Press?" And I thought what I heard was, "Is that big butt for us?" And I'm like, are they saying my butt looks big in this jumpsuit? And and then I'm like, what? And they're like, "Is that Big Bud Press?" I'm like, "Oh, yes, it's Big Bud Press." And they're like, "Nice."
That's funny.
But that would have been so weird if they were actually asking, like, "Is that big butt for us?" Like, what would I, like, how do you reply to that? Like, "Yeah, it sure is." Yeah. But
Yeah.
other than that, it was a real good time.
Cool. Yeah, I feel like the time for us to start going back into the city more regularly to see performances of all different kinds
Yeah.
is nigh. I'm ready. I'm ready to do it for sure. And we're lucky we got lots of support and
know-
childcare options and everything.
Do you know the band U.S. Girls?
Yeah. Not personally.
Do you like the band U.S. Girls?
Yeah, I think so. I think I've heard. I can hear a song in my head right now. I think it's theirs.
Well, U.S. Girls is playing Union Stage tomorrow night, and Leia Gage isn't able to go, and so her ticket is up for grabs.
Oh. Uh, well, having said that,
I don't
I'm
know.
ready to go back out again. Tomorrow night is
That's a little short
medical.
notice.
I got a medical procedure tomorrow, so I won't be able to
Okay.
go tomorrow night.
That's fine. That's fine. That's
But
short notice.
thank you. No, yeah, thank you for asking. I would love to go.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Uh, this is a good way to do a show. Is just like ask, what are you doing tomorrow?
Yeah,
Let's go hang out.
yeah.
Normalson said I'm washing my hair. I might be doing that too, but I got, it's always something medical with me. Startrek says this mensch, I think he spelled mensch right, is helping promote big butts, he said. Andrew is definitely a mensch in all of the different meanings of that word.
Oh, that's
Um,
kind of.
Starrek says, I would also like to see big butts. Well, guess what, Starrek? You're already on the internet, and there's
You
lots of
came to
butts
the
on the
right
internet.
place.
You came to the right place, the internet. Okay, do we have a short one? Let's do one last question.
Oh.
I'm sorry, I'm flipping through here. I don't got any good ones.
Okay.
Did you bring like a show and tell kind of thing? Is there something in your life that's
Yeah.
making you particular? Let's see it. Let's do that.
Okay. So, this was. So I went to a wedding, uh, maybe a week or two ago, and it was kind of a reunion of a lot of like old friends from the house venue I used to live in,
Hmm.
Bathtub Republic, and the jacket that I wore, I found in it. Oh shit! Where'd it go? No, I don't have it. Okay. Well, let me just. It's just a tell. It's just a tell.
Okay, okay, okay.
uh, but shit, man, I thought I put it in my pocket. I don't have it. This is
And
upsetting.
you're a professional performer, unprepared.
Yeah, what a letdown. Well, what I found in my pocket was a drink ticket from Black Cat.
Oh wow.
And it was like, I totally forgot, and I like pulled it out. It was like, hey, look at this, and everyone, and it was a lot of people who had like performed at like church night,
Yeah.
who like took one look at it, and knew exactly what it was, and it was like this kind of fun, nostalgic thing, and everyone was like, you should go redeem it, go get a drink from Al. But yeah, that was a fun thing to, and I actually had it with me on tour and just kind of kept it in my bag the whole time.
Oh, that's really nice. To find that, I know the wedding you're talking about and the people that were there, and to just randomly find that around that group of people must have been really nice.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
I feel like you can kind of, maybe it's not fair to do this, but you can kind of like think about your life as like going through like a golden age of your life where everything just seems like it's working and it's perfect and it's great. And those days when you guys were in the bathtub and we were doing church night all the time, that was just such a wonderful time in my life, and I'm sure in lots of other people's too. I feel in a very different way at a very different pace. I feel something similar about my life right now. I feel like one of the reasons I'm doing this is because I've put a lot of work into myself. I've been going to therapy, and I feel better, at least mentally, about things. And having a kid's just turned out to be a totally different type of adventure than I ever could have guessed, and it's just a blast most of the time.
Cool.
And I miss those days. But the thing about nostalgia is it's not for a place; it's for a time, and you can't go back. So you can look back and be fond, but missing it is silly, because even if we all went right back there again, it'd be different because you can't go back in time. And so, but being able to think back of those days, man, what a blast! Every day was an adventure and just nonstop party in the best possible way.
Yeah, and it was It was short. It was like we were living in that house. It was only like a year and a half, 2 years.
Really?
Yeah,
The original?
the original.
Huh.
I know, crazy, right?
Yeah. I can just I can close my eyes and feel dancing in that basement like it was yesterday.
I know, right?
Yeah.
And one of the bands at Lava Fest, the Prabir Trio. Prabir lives in Richmond. They're based out of Richmond, and I know Prabir because Prabir played Bathtub Republic with his old band Gold Rush like
Huh.
years ago,
Yeah, yeah, cool.
and it was like cool to see a that he's like still doing it, and b that he's like the band sounded great, and it was like a better version of what he was doing back then. Like he had, he like knew himself better. He just was a better musician just because he'd been doing it longer.
Yeah.
The whole thing just was like more dialed in. So it was like fun to like revisit. And I think he had the same experience like seeing us because like we played a show with him in Richmond one time, and so it was like cool to reconnect and both of us be like more mature, more realized versions of ourselves.
Yeah. That's really that's terrific, and I love like when the world turns out to be small in that way.
Yeah.
Uh and because it's my birthday, we're starting to get close to the end of the time. But just thinking about that is like getting older is like being able to like dial yourself in a little bit more.
Yes.
And you're just
Yes.
becoming a more polished, a more refined version of you. Is
Yes.
that's how I'm gonna try and hopefully be successful at thinking about getting
Can I
older.
share a story of I was at dinner. It was my wife and I and my dad, and my dad was going off on some rant about how people get old and they don't really try to. I think he was talking about how people go on cruises and he doesn't like cruises.
I don't.
Uh,
I've never been on one, but I don't want to.
yeah, I don't know, whatever. He was complaining about people going on cruises and they get old and then they stop like learning or whatever,
Yeah.
And then my wife asked my dad, "Well, what about you? I mean, you're getting older too." And he said, and I quote, "Well, I think I'm only getting better with age." That's become like a standard line in our household.
Yeah.
Anytime,
I'm only getting better with age.
I think I'm only getting better with
Yeah.
age.
Yeah, I feel like that sometimes. I need to work on feeling like that more
Yeah,
consistently.
that
Uh,
you're getting better with age.
well, I mean, in a lot of ways, I'm definitely not. Like
Yeah,
objectively not, but in some ways, I am.
yeah,
For
yeah.
sure, I'm dialing it in. I'm gonna be more Jeremy International next year than I was this year, and the year after that, I'll be even more Jeremy International.
Right. Yeah, I think aging, if done, I mean, there's like the physical stuff, which like some of that you can't help,
Yeah,
and you just have to like do your best to manage like your physicality as you get older. But as far as like your mind and your heart, I think uh, it, it's just like aging well is a skill that needs to be learned,
yeah.
and
Um,
and
one,
you can do it, and then your life just gets better.
yeah.
You know.
One of the things that I really valued about kind of my mental health journey and overall like life journey over the last few years
Mm,
has just been how much I can see like just kind of like the short-tempered kind of shittiness that I think is common in a lot of male style people, and just like the defaulting to like an aggressive stance that I used to do a
right.
lot
Mm,
that I don't do at all anymore, and for much to me and everyone else's benefit. And when I see other people, especially like men older than me still getting trapped in this, like, I need to show everyone how
Right.
strong I am. But I can't help now but see that,
Right.
like, going out of your way to appear strong is is I don't know how not ever almost no one sees that as weakness, but it is. Like, you
Mm.
have to, when you have to fight and be, and not like physically, but like verbally have to push back against everyone and be defensive like that.
Right. Right.
I
The
don't have
fear.
any patience for it anymore.
It's like a fear at the center of that.
Yeah, and I see them and I'm like, that poor sad little boy,
Yeah.
that I was for so long, that I think, I still see so many people are, and like having, I've never had like a lot of close, male friends, but people like you and people like Startrek and, Normalson that I hang out with at least virtually all the time now has just been so great to have, like, dudes, because I just, that kind of little little boy anger was something that I had so little patience for, that it's just nice to have people in my life that don't do that. And all you guys are the best, and I'm lucky about that. Birthdays, are a good time to reflect.
And that, on that spirit of having guy friends, I recommend listening to the classic song "Hanging with the Boys" by Kenny Loggins
Okay.
of the Top Gun soundtrack.
Yeah, yeah. Kenny Loggins has got some hits, man. I haven't heard that song recently. No.
I have. I heard it yesterday in the van driving from Norfolk.
I know that Normalson's excited about any mention of the Top Gun soundtrack. Do you ever think that all of those movies with Kenny Loggins soundtracks, like Top Gun and Footloose and Caddyshack,
Caddyshack, yeah.
what if they all happen in the same universe? What if that was like the first like cinematic universe?
Okay, so let's think this out. So is he like comes to a new town where he can't dance, but then he like conquers dancing.
Like what if what if Maverick is Kevin Bacon's older brother?
And I was thinking it's one guy who goes through.
Oh, I see. Which, yeah, that would be even better. I was thinking more of like a like a comic book. Like there's a undercurrent that connects them all together.
I see.
Yeah, I like the idea that he worked at the.
He worked at the country club as a caddy.
Yeah.
And then he moved because he got in too much trouble.
Yeah, and they're moving at the beginning of that movie. Right. And then eventually he gets in so much trouble in the tiny town where they don't have dancing that he joins the Navy. That's the only thing left for him. Makes sense. All the same guy.
Perfect.
All right. I think that about, on that note, thanks for joining us, Andrew. This was fun.
Yeah,
we'll be back next Monday for the advice stream, same time, 9 p.m. Eastern. And stay tuned because next week, I don't know exactly when yet, but sometime during the day, we're also gonna, I'm gonna start the my second stream where I'm gonna organize my record collection on Twitch during the day. Because I can only do job hunting but so long, and my record collection needs some TLC. So
I gotta watch that.
Yeah, well, we can talk about music. I can't play any of it because of copyright, but we can talk, and so that'll be fun. I'm gonna do it anyways. I'm gonna reorganize my record collection, whether people hear or not. So, thanks for all the birthday wishes. Thanks for joining us, Andrew. I'll see you guys in a week. Well, some of you I'll probably see before then because you're all my friends and I love you very much. But no problem, Andrew. Thanks. That was so much fun. See you soon.
Yeah. Peace.